application.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I'm Lindsay. Let's see, Lindsay Huber. We can go to the next slide and just do the introductions. I feel like that's always easiest. So I'm Lindsay Huber. I'm the education director with the Street Trust, and use she, her. And Emily, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yes, my name is Emily Dugan. I'm the project and administration coordinator with Commute Options.
Awesome.
Recording in progress.
Okay. So make sure that you go through and mute yourself. You can turn off your camera if you want to, if you're eating lunch or whatever. And then we will have some time at the very end for Q&A. So you can either drop your questions in the chat as we go along, and give us any clarifying questions or anything like that that you need at the time. Otherwise, we will start going through Q&A questions at the end. And you can also use that time to unmute yourself, turn on your camera and chat if you want. We're going to use that Q&A time for a little bit of kind of event workshopping. So feel free to start thinking about, like, what do you need help with? What are you thinking about for your events for the fall? All right, so next slide. Okay, so our agenda today, we'll be going through what is Walk and Roll, Walk and Roll to School Day and beyond, the Drive Like It, and Look Out for Kids. Oh wait, no, we're actually just doing one of those. Which one is it? I always confuse the two.
It'll be Drive Like It.
Perfect. So just the Drive Like It campaign for now. Then we'll be going through ordering incentives, the recognition program. We have some examples from Safe Routes to School coordinators who will be talking for a few minutes about events that they've done before to help give you some ideas. And then we will have the Q&A and event brainstorming at the very end. So the three Safe Routes to School coordinators who we have joining us today will be Janelle Newton from Douglas County, Jesse Wilson from LeGrand, and then McCrae Carmichael from Salem. Okay, so what is Walk and Roll? So I'm sure some of you have done events before, but some of you, we already know, are brand new to this. So Walk and Roll are encouragement events that highlight walking and rolling. So typically they are around the school commutes, but as we've seen over this past year and a half, when schools are closed or in hybrid modes, you can end up doing all sorts of just activities to keep kids active and moving in their community. So the events that we have typically done are International Walk and Roll to School Day, which this year will be on Wednesday, October 6th, and the Walk and Roll May Challenge, which takes place all month long in May. But we also have some brand new events that are being added that we'll talk a little bit more about today. And Emily, your turn.
Great. So what does a walk and roll event really look like? The answer is it can look like whatever you want it to look like, so long as that it's promoting safe walking and biking to school. You can celebrate for any time that you want. It doesn't have to be just one day, like with the International Walk and Roll to School Day, but it could be a week, it could be a month, really any timeline that you want. It's also fun to do sort of, holiday or event specific kind of walk and rolls, like a Halloween parade to school, where kids would dress up in their costumes and bike and walk to school. And another thing that's really important to think about too is that you're being inclusive of all different people that are, potentially participating in this event, all different students. So including bus riders is really important. And actually McCrae is going to comment more on that later too, and some ideas that she has for including bus riders. So you'll get to hear about that. Other things we can do too to add to your walk and roll events is something like a walking school bus or a bike train, which could be just for one day, or that could be a consistent program that you're doing that you have every day. If you have students who maybe it's a little bit too far for them to walk to school or to join a bike train and bike to school, you can also do a park and walk or park and ride from a closer location, which can also be a really fun, invigorating event. And these events also, they don't have to be just the students, families, interested teachers, and school staff. You can really include a lot of people, including school mascots is fun. That encourages school spirit, gets everyone involved. Local politicians are really great as well, and inviting local media. In addition to making these people aware of the programs that you're offering, it also builds up momentum and support for these different programs. So a lot of different people, a lot of different ways to do this. You can also do this beyond just the school day. Many people in the area in our state like to do bike rodeos or bike nights. These are fun educational events where you can do things like a helmet fitting station or a bike safety course, or teaching kids, certain things about street signs, lots of different things that you can do with this and make it really fun. And you could do that even, before, after school, in the evenings, on a weekend. So lots of different ways you can do this. And of course, too, an important part of this is prizes, because everyone loves walking away with something. So it's good to have a prize table with lots of incentives, bringing things like hot chocolate. There was one park and walk that Commute Options did a few years ago where they got a local organization to donate hot chocolate on the walk to school from the park and walk. You can do something fun like being a bike fairy and go to the students that are biking to school and put little fun treats on there too. So when they get off of school, they see, okay, we have this fun little goodie as well. And something again too, just to draw more attention and get more support for your Safe Routes to School programs, is to really go to local donors and ask them if they'd be willing to donate bigger prizes like helmets or gift cards or, super nice bike lights, things like that. So just including everyone. And then of course too, you want this to not just be a one-day type of thing and then it all fizzles out. You want to keep moving so you can keep momentum for your different events and for your Safe Routes to School programs. So consider making your event reoccurring every month or once a day every week. Some ideas are Walk and Wheel Wednesdays, where you encourage students to walk or roll somehow to school on Wednesdays, or Feet First Fridays too, or again, you're encouraging kids to walk and roll to school. So lots of ways to keep things moving. So unfortunately, we are still dealing with COVID, and we'll still likely be dealing with COVID into the school year. And so many of you may be wanting to do some kind of virtual or hybrid events. Luckily, there's lots of different tools that are available to make that easier for you. If you go to the Oregon Safe Routes to School website under resources and I believe it's physical distancing, we have our Walk and Roll physical distancing e-toolkit that has just a bunch of lessons plans and activity guides that you can do with your students at your various schools. Last year, we also held an art contest too, where kids around the state drew pictures of what they saw when they were walking and rolling. And those were all entered into an art contest, and the winners get a special prize. I believe those are being announced soon, so keep a lookout. Another great example of a fun virtual hybrid event that you can do is something that Multnomah County did last year, where they had a printable multilingual scavenger hunt and bingo activity. Again, that was encouraging students to go out and ride their bikes, walk around, get out there, while also keeping students safe and physically distanced from each other as to protect our communities from COVID. So again, too, you might be looking at these virtual events or these hybrid events, but there's still a lot you can do to really impact and make a total complete walk and roll event. And I believe I'm passing it on to you, Lindsay.
Yes. So why host a walk and roll event? So walk and roll events are truly that gateway to Safe Routes to School. It's that easy way to convince a school that's never done Safe Routes to School before to start engaging with the programs. And it can be, as simple as doing just that one event for Walk and Roll to School Day. And then if they get a taste for it, they might start doing more. So you can continue doing more encouragement activities with more walk and roll events. You might be able to get them to then start moving into doing construction projects, when they get that politician to come go for a walk with them and realize, hey, wait, maybe this intersection could be better. Then they apply for funds to fix that up. It's that really easy way to build those relationships with the folks at the school, with the families, with the administrators, and build a proper Safe Routes to School program. So it's very important for schools that are brand new as well as for those schools who've been kind of in Safe Routes to School for a little while to keep that momentum going. Next slide. All right, so now we're going to go through some of the different activities. So International Walk&Roll to School Day, again, that's the one that folks have been doing, gosh, for quite a while. It's celebrated all around the world. And this year is going to be held on Wednesday, October 6th. But again, as we were just saying, choose your own adventure. You can pick what day makes sense to you. If you've got a late start day, one day, you know, even a week or two away from it, that's totally fine. You know, it's whatever works for you. You can celebrate it when you want to. Next slide. So this is one of the new events that we're finally bringing to Oregon. So Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day, which will be on November 17th, 2021. So that was started in 2018 by South San Francisco fifth graders. And they had some of their folks who had helped run it at the Safe Routes to School National Conference that a few of us from Oregon were at. And they were just like hyping us all up on it. And I'm so excited that we're finally getting to bring it here now. It's just a really awesome event where you get the opportunity to teach kids about history and the civil rights movement and make those connections to the things that are happening today. So we will have a special sticker for it. That's one of the really exciting things is each of these new events that we've got, we're going to have a special sticker for it, along with having the incentives available for these different events instead of just for Walk&Roll to School Day and the May Challenge. And we'll talk a little more about incentive ordering later. The next new one that I'm super excited to add is a winter walk to school day or Walk&Roll to School Day. So this is really to encourage families to still keep moving and stay active even in those winter months. So this can be, you know, even in basically any part of the state. I keep hearing about it. It's in a lot of the different snowy areas back east, and in Canada, they like to do it. So I'm just so happy. I've wanted to do this for years and years to just really get folks out there, stay moving, even when it's rainy and cold, you can still keep moving. You can still walk and roll. Okay, next slide. So Earth Month, people have kind of unofficially done things for Earth Month. But we are, again, going to make it official for us now with Earth Day on April 22nd. I am anticipating for most folks, they'll kind of keep this as a lower lift, smaller event because of, you know, the fact that the May Challenge is coming right up just, you know, a week after this. But this could be a good one for those of you who expand out into doing those like walking Wednesdays or things like that. And you can use it as a way to hype and get that momentum then for the May Challenge, which is the next slide. So the May Challenge is the one that we really encourage schools to try and go all month if they can. But as usual, it is that choose your own adventure that you can do whatever is big, whatever is meaningful and works for your school. So Bike to School Day, it will be May 4th, 2022. And that's often the day that schools choose to do a really big event. But again, you celebrate all month long, do big events, small events, whatever works for you. This is the one where we also provide resources to do tracking. So you can track different ways to see how your kids are moving and staying active that month, how they're coming to school. So we have different resources that we always put together. Oh yes, as someone's pointing out, you can also combo it with Star Wars Day this year because it happens to fall right on that day. It'll be super fun. But the tracking, we always provide different resources for ways that you can track. So if you are a Safe Routes to School coordinator, for example, and you work with multiple schools, you could, for example, collect that information from the schools and do a competition between the schools in your district. One of the really popular ones that people have liked to do is the Golden Sneaker Award, where you take a sneaker and just spray paint it gold, and whichever school does the best based on whatever form of tracking you choose to use, they win that golden sneaker. And you could do at the end of the month or the very beginning of June, do like a big ceremony to celebrate. You can make it super fun. Just do whatever works for you. All right, next we are going to Drive Like It with Emily.
Perfect. All right, so the Drive Like It campaign is launching on August 23rd, just in time for back to school. And the purpose of this campaign is to remind drivers that school routes are everywhere, and so you should drive like it. Look out for kids. Make sure that you are, driving slowly and not being aggressive in these areas. You'll be able to download the materials for the campaign on our website after the 23rd or on the 23rd. And they're going to be multilingual in lots of different languages with good social media too for you to be posting and promoting that as well. This is another great way too to engage your communities remotely in Safe Routes to School. Just by posting these on social media. There might be a way for you to order yard signs as well too. We can discuss more about that at the end. So it's just another great tool and to engage families remotely. So look out for that. It will be on the 23rd. And again, too, we'll be promoting that quite a bit as well. All right. And next I want to talk about incentives ordering. So first, just so you know that incentives ordering will open up on the website, the Oregon Safe Routes to School website in September. You can order things, bilingual Spanish and English posters that will be printed for Walk and Roll School Day. And you can start ordering those in September. There is also available to the ODOT materials like the comic books, the workbooks, the coloring books, and those will just continue to be available and open for ordering. You can also order some fun swag too, because again, everyone likes swag. This year we'll be offering stickers, pencils, reflective materials, and in the future, we're going to be working on new stickers for those new events that Lindsay was talking about, such as the Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day. So keep an eye out for that. If you're interested in bulk ordering on behalf of multiple schools, please contact us and contact your Safe Routes to School Hub Coordinator, and they can help you get that worked out once the ordering opens. So keep a lookout for incentives, they are coming. The next thing that's coming soon is monthly themes. I know from personal experience that social media is a great way to connect your community and get the word out about events and Safe Routes to Schools, but oftentimes it's really hard to find the time to do it. So we wanted to make that easier for everyone by creating monthly themes on walking, biking, and safety that people can use. So those will be coming out soon as well. And here's just kind of an example of something that you might post. So for back to school, you're going back to school here, remember these things to be a safe walker and roller. So we'll definitely, again, to be sending out an email blast about that. So if you aren't already registered for our newsletter, you can go to OregonSafeRoutes.org and register for our newsletter where you can get more of these updates. Awesome. And then I also want to remind everyone about the recognition program. This is a program that when you complete certain levels and do certain things, you get a certain award for your Safe Routes to School program. We'd really like for everyone to be at the platinum level, so we're wanting to make that easier for folks. So in the coming months, we're also going to be restructuring this and providing specific resources with each level, just to make it easier to reach that platinum level and be the best program that you can be and that we know you can be. So also keep a lookout for that. And with that, I am turning it over to Jesse in LeGrand.
Hello. This last spring I did a slow down campaign. Last spring, I guess it was January, but anyway, I did a slow down campaign, which was my virtual event. I did not get a chance to do one event in October because we didn't have school, and I really wanted to get the kids' attention and start the program. So our virtual event was a slow down campaign, and it was a drawing contest for grades 3 through 8, and they could draw posters. And then the coloring contest for grades K through 2, and I provided the color sheets. And the winning entries would be turned into yard signs. But how we picked the winners was I made a Google form, and each school got their own link to their form, and people could vote on their top 3 that they liked. And I took those 3 winners from each one, and it was completely fair. So I could, if there's any questions, I could prove to people that this is how we did it, because it was all completely shareable document. We picked those to the 3 winners were sent off to make yard signs, and the schools got 2 of each yard sign to put in around their schools. And it was the greatest thing about it was the kids were so proud of their artwork being shown. And it really brought to parents' attention, oh, hey, we need to slow down around the schools. And everybody who talked to me about it said that they saw a significant drop in the speed because people were actually slowing down to look at the artwork, but whatever worked. I was like, it worked. And it really got the kids involved. And then in May, I had a huge turnout for Walk and Roll. So it kind of was my segue into it. But the virtual part is the schools had very little to do with it. The teachers who chose to participate gave their artwork to the offices. I picked up the artwork, and then I took pictures of it all, put it on the forms, and then I used the pictures to make the yard signs. And then the artwork went back to the schools after everything was done. But there was no outside contact except with the office. And the principals loved it because they didn't have to do any work. And that was the selling point. I think that was everything. It was a pretty seamless once I got into it, virtual event.
Awesome. Okay. So next, Janelle, are you able to present yours?
Yes, I am. One sec here. Okay, hi everybody. My name is Janelle and I'm the Safe Routes facilitator down in Douglas County in Southern Oregon. And for those of you who aren't familiar, Roseburg is the biggest city in the county seat. And so it's mostly a pretty rural community. So one challenge that I've encountered by trying to set up walk and roll days is that even when the staff members are on board and I get a principal or a teacher really excited about it, they just often don't have the infrastructure to pull the event off in the traditional sense safely. And one example I have of last fall, they were in person. It was a really small charter school, K through high school. It was a really small rural school called Days Creek Charter School. And the vice principal was super excited, but the school is literally on a windy highway road that has 40 miles an hour for a speed limit with no curbs, no sidewalks, no bike lanes, no traffic lights. And so even if you wanted to have a, walk and roll event, it's literally not safe. And so the campus is pretty large. So what we did was we put on a bus to walk to school day. So the bus stopped at the entrance to like the school campus, and they have like this really long driveway and then kind of a loop around where buses and cars drop off. So what we did was we, chose the date in advance, and then it was the International Walk and Roll to School Day last fall of 2020. And communicated with parents and other staff so they knew like there would not be the standard traffic. And so the drop off was just at a different location. And then staff members greeted the students and they all like walked together. In the picture on the left there, as you can see, is a group of some of the elementary age students walking together off of the bus. So just the idea, obviously it's not the same full effect of walking from your house, but in a lot of these rural schools, kids are coming from 5-10 miles away, and it's just not realistic to have them walk or bike from home. And so it was still a way to just like celebrate active transportation and get kids involved. And being such a small town, like they don't have a ton of events. So it just like really shook up the day and kids were excited. And then a lot of the prizes that were just shown a few slides ago, there were a couple of tables out and kids could choose like one small prize from the table, the shoelaces and the stickers and the pencils and all that fun stuff. And then we had like a raffle, and the young lady there on the right is our grand prize winner, who everyone who participated basically put their name in a drawing, and we did one brand new bike and one pair of new tennis shoes to kind of celebrate both walking and or rolling. So that's what we did. And it was really, yeah, it was just fun, and it was different, and it was something that, you know, can be repeated at other rural schools, and it was kind of just like an entry point. So next slide. And then in the spring, we actually had most schools down here in Douglas County in person in the spring, which was great. And I know around the state that was not the case for everyone. And so there was a little bit more hope, I guess could be the best word, for some of the traditional like bike and walk to school events or walk and roll events. And so the one hiccup I encountered though was the schools that were open, they were so hesitant to do anything that, you know, could rock the boat, or like people would be walking in groups, and obviously there are cohort issues. And so what we really promoted was walking and rolling on your own or with your family. And so we extended like the day to a week-long event to try and recognize that, you know, not all parents and caretakers, you know, a lot of them go to work, and it's hard, you know, part of the driving to drop off and pick up is not because they're anti walking or rolling. It's just because they're like on that time crunch to get to work on time. So we tried to extend it to a week to just allow for more flexibility. And then the flyer on the left that you can see, we have like a link, but also a QR code. I found that those are a lot easier since almost everyone has a smartphone nowadays. They can just scan the code, and it took them directly to a Google link. And then everyone who participated, you know, same thing. We did like little small prizes, and then we drew 3 grand prize winners for bigger prizes again. And then the school that had the most participants participate in our week, they won a book bundle of like active transportation books. So we delivered to an elementary school, I think it was 8 different books on like biking and walking to school, and kind of all different reading abilities from like kindergarten through 5th grade. And then as you can see the pictures on the right, because we were promoting, you know, walking and rolling, a few of the days of the week, we just went around and we left little notes, little goodie bags on handlebars, and to, you know, do the whole bike fairy thing. And it was pretty fun. I made up a cheesy little, you know, little tag, and it said, keep on rolling, with a picture of someone on a bike. And then I put little Tootsie Rolls in there to kind of, you know, do the play on words. And then I put the same QR code. So that way, you know, even if the kid's teacher is not sharing the flyer, because some do and some don't, it's like, here you go, take this and scan it and enter your stuff in. And that was pretty fun too. And actually a couple of kids caught me at recess when I was putting them on, and they were really excited, like, what are you doing? And I told them, and they were really excited. And so it was kind of fun just to shake it up and do something different, like a different way to reward kids for participating. Okay, I think that's it from my slides.
Awesome, thank you. So next up is McCrae.
Hi, everybody. I'm McCrae Carmichael, and I am the Safe Routes to Schools coordinator for Salem-Keizer School District. We're funded by the non-infrastructure grant through ODOT in a 3-year sequence. So we have been in place for about 1.5 years now. And Salem-Keizer is the 2nd largest school district in the state, but we haven't had an official Safe Routes to Schools program here. So I started in January to start networking with and communicating with our schools and our school district, and then we stopped coming to school on March 13th in our school district of 2020. And so we sort of reset our program, and like all of you or many of you who have already been participating in the program, look to virtual opportunities. And so that leads us into the fall of 2020. This will get into my slide in a second, but I wanted to give you a little context. So last fall, I found this walk and roll material. Portland Metro had put it out, and I really liked it. And the program was geared at walk and roll to everywhere, with us being virtual since we weren't in person, that we could just put this challenge out and encourage people to get out. I didn't do this as an activity at our school or as a tracker, but just did it more as like another tool and item to get people thinking about being active. So I did that and didn't necessarily track it. It was more just trying to provide information to my schools that I was working with at the time, then then we had a few other contests we had throughout the year. And then in May, we hosted a challenge month, and that worked really well because students were in hybrid, and I had about 12 schools. So I have 43 elementary schools in Salem Kaiser. So I had about 12 schools that got really excited, and the tally was just daily, and we provided many platforms for students to be able to turn it in. We had a Google form, and I share this because I think that's like where there was a lot of room for people to figure out how they could fit and participate, but they could do it online. They could turn the form into their teacher, students could be filling out the form, and just really ease of access. So that we had prizes at the end. Every student who participated got like a Safe Routes bag with materials, all sorts of fun stuff. Some of these items that the Street Trust provides for us, and then some other materials that my program's gotten. So, and we also did scooters for just as raffle for participants, and we gave out 16 scooters and helmets. So I did that, and that was an excellent end and good segue for us to move into the fall with this walk and roll program. So what I intend to do, this is going to be provided to all our administrators next week, as just along with a few other parts about our program of what kind of opportunities we can provide. But this material will be given to our administrators, and then I'll follow up with them directly. So the beginning legwork is me calling the office manager and the administrator after this material gets out to them, and just finding out where does it catch, who is interested in having a walk and roll day on October 6th, and what it will individually look like at each school. So what's important is there's myself and I have an assistant in our job. We can't be at all the schools on October 6th celebrating. So we're going to need at each of our schools staff or a parent or someone who meets the background check to be able to be available to host our table and have the materials and celebrate kids choosing to walk. What we'll help do is plan the route, give them the materials to be pushing out to families and coordinating that part of the event. That said, I have some schools that have a very big boundary, and the accessibility of walking is pretty limited, and kids ride the bus, and that's awesome. I love kids riding the bus as part of Safe Routes to Schools. So for those students, we'll have all our schools have some sort of track or paved area or paths for students. So if we have a school that wants to participate and we'll be having a table, we will also have a route that kids, when they get to school, they can either jump out, not jump out, get off the bus safely and jump in and do a lap or two to be a part of walking and safety. So I'm excited. It is growing each time. It's changing and trying to develop, but I guess I would like to offer to other coordinators and people who are interested. There is a lot of great materials that ODOT and Alta Planning and Commuter Options and Street Trust have available for you to be able to synthesize to your own program. And I've taken to that, and I think there's good stuff that you don't have to create it all. It's more about early communication and follow-up, a lot of follow-up with your schools and who you're working with. So that is my plan for October, but I love hearing about all these other things the Street Trust has too, the Winter Walk and the Earth Day. There's so many different moments and days that I think we can find opportunities to promote kids moving to and from school. So thank you, Emily.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. So we have 23 minutes, it looks like here, for any Q&A, any questions that you've got. I know we've got some folks on here as well who are from areas that have done events as well, who might be willing to chime in and help out if they've got answers for you too. We'll also be doing the event workshopping. So we want to have this be a little more free form. If you've got questions about, doing an event this fall with, all the COVID uncertainty, or just any specifics about your area, this is the time. So you can drop questions in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and speak that way. So we'll give folks a minute.
Lindsay.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you can hear me.
Oh, I think, okay, perfect. Yes.
Okay, now you can hear me. Okay.
Yeah.
This is Julie from Medford. I have a quick question for the last speaker. I think I wrote it down was McRae.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
What I hear is she was doing a whole district-wide walk to school campaign or walk and roll day. I'm just curious, as a first timer here starting, actually, this is our second year, but I'm restarting. So basically starting from scratch, is it advisable just to pick maybe 1, 2, or 3 schools to do? Because there's no way I can do a whole district.
Yes, I would lean to other people in this call too, but I anticipate we will be doing it at 10 schools, right? But in my case, it will be the key to it happening will be a person at the school who takes the lead. I will do all the build up. I will provide all the material, but right. So I think if you have one school that you're having good communication with the principal or administrator or a lead, go there and just use that as a good opportunity to figure out a good process for you for all the steps that you need to do. There aren't that many steps. Also, I don't want to make it sound like daunting by any means, but I would recommend definitely just one school. I've done some of the things I've done over the past year. I had 5 pilot schools for my grant, but we redeveloped our grant based on just the district and virtual and hybrid learning, and decided to try to push out differently for the last year of our grant. So that'd be my recommendation. Don't try to do it all. We're just throwing our net out wider in this case. So if there are schools within the district who would like to participate, who weren't initially part of our pilot grant. So.
Yeah, and I'll second that. I think I've seen one of the most common job positions that ends up picking up a lot of these support roles is PE teachers. They're often pretty gung-ho about this stuff, but sometimes it's just other school staff. It can be a librarian or even like principal that's super excited and willing to help out. And sometimes it's just that parent volunteer who is very excited. So you just kind of see where that momentum is and see who you can bring on to support you. Okay, so we have a question here in the chat. Do you know when an image of the walk and roll to school day poster will be posted? I'd love to see it soon, if possible, as we will be planning and putting materials together soon. So I just got the potentially final draft of it. I have to show it to the rest of my team, I think probably tomorrow. And then we'll be getting the orders put in, because we usually print the walk and roll to school day poster so that you can order it and have it for your events if you would like. So it should be getting posted pretty shortly after that. So I would imagine, I don't know, maybe a week or 2. I think we should be able to get it online pretty quickly. And the poster will be English and Spanish bilingual on the same poster. So it should be pretty nice because I know a lot of districts have rules that things have to be in both English and Spanish. Okay, so next question. Thoughts about planning for virtual/social distancing events or planning on having actual events? Is it safer to plan for virtual/social distancing for fall because that can happen regardless of what the COVID situation is? Any thoughts from any of our coordinators, what you're planning, how this is playing in for what you're thinking about?
For my plan for the schools, I'm just doing virtual to start with. If by May we can do in person, that's great, but I'm not even gonna go with anything but virtual. Because I mean, we're just getting a new spike. And so, I mean, I'm not even gonna even think about going there in person. And if they prefer me to do virtual anyway, so it works for me.
Yeah, and we mentioned the art contest. We'll be hosting another art contest of our own, as well as we're trying to link to some of those different resources that you can use on the OregonSafeRoutes.org Walk and Roll to School Day page. So there's a lot of different resources out there. If you are a Safe Routes School coordinator and are connected with your hub, you can also see what other stuff has been used by folks in your hub locally there. So let's see.
Can I jump in with a continued part of that question?
Yes.
I guess I'm just curious, is anybody still thinking about doing like a walking school bus, biking, train, anything in fall? I think it's nice to, doesn't have to be a consensus, but like where are we all at with our messaging and what we're trying to do? Or are we just going to be super flexible and everyone's going to choose what makes sense for what they think works?
I would offer, we are piloting 2 walking school bus programs in Salem Kaiser this fall. And so far the direction and leadership from the school district is we are going to school 5 days a week. So we will practice distancing and we'll wear masks, even though, I was just thinking about that this morning, like, oh, well, kids will have to wear masks in school, but I'm just going to go under the umbrella of this is an extension of school. So you'll wear a mask for if you're participating in our walking school bus. So we are, I'm moving forward in that space, and we'll change if I need to, if we do find ourselves in a hybrid model, but that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, also I'll chime in. So again, I am in the Douglas County area, and the culture in Southern Oregon is very different than some of the larger metropolitan areas. And we have a lot of people who just want like normal. I mean, everyone wants normal, but anyhow, and so I will kind of probably do both, which is what we did last year. And it's like the schools where the staff is supportive and still really wants to do like in-person events. We will find ways to do it following, safety guidelines, like McCrae was saying, with masks as need be, or, potentially walking in cohorts. I have yet to do a walking school bus. I got hired in the middle of the pandemic, and so that's been a hard thing to start up, but it's like one of my biggest goals. I would love to get one going. I think that they're such a great idea. And as a parent myself, I live within a mile to my kids' school, and we always walked, and I always was like, well, I would let you walk if you had someone safe to walk with. She was just too young to go by herself. So I think that there's a lot of people in our local area that do want to see in-person things. And so I think it's kind of a case-by-case basis. And it's, just finding, like everyone has said, that one staff member on board who is pretty excited and enthusiastic and willing to kind of take the charge. And for me, it's also been mostly PE teachers. And in one case, like a vice principal, but PE teachers are just a great way to go about it because you can partner with them, and this supports a lot of their, their curriculum as well. So.
Thanks. Yeah, I think it helps with the stuff that the fact that it is outside. So it is a little more COVID flexible than, indoor activities and things. So I think, yeah, playing it by ear is good.
My last just general thought to share is the school district I'm working with is saying that it's unlikely that they would be able to use volunteers outside of the school or people that aren't already interacting with kids. So that's useful for planning for those that are thinking about doing these events.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. So we had a follow-up poster question. Could there be a digital download option? Yes. So we will definitely be posting the PDF to the website. The PDF that can be edited, I will check with our person who's putting it together and see if that's possible. We've done one before that had like just a spot where you could kind of just write in your own details. I'll see if that's possible. Yeah, so again, that should be all within the next week or two that we should be able to have that. Okay. Any more questions, thoughts for workshopping your events for the fall or beyond? Okay. So if, I guess I should have put my email address on here, but if you do come up with something later, feel free to email me. I've been doing this for a little bit and can, provide you some guidance. I'll drop it in the chat, but it is Lindsay, LINDSAY @thestreettrust.org. And then again, if you are a Safe Routes School coordinator and you have a hub, please, go to your hub meetings and chat with folks there. It's a really great place to share those ideas and get feedback and just really connect with your peers. So make sure those are on your calendar. All right. So thank you so much for everyone attending today, participating today, spending your lunchtime with us, and look forward to hearing about all of your awesome walk and roll events that happen this fall and sharing out all your fun stories. So thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.